There are a lot of nice places to explore. You get a lot of tips and hikes, but it is hard to get all these suggestions in a bunch of routes. This is about how I do the planning of a trip, from selecting interesting spots to a collection of tracks for my cell phone. The software I use is Viking GPS and GPS Prune. But first, let me get on some common terms you might frequently stumble into when you use this kind of software. The first term is POI, short for point of interest. Points of interest are the start in planning a tour. In Viking GPS, points of interest are labeled as waypoints. The second term is route. A route is a rough polygon of a trip. It is normally what you upload to your cell phone. The third term is track. It is like a route but with much higher granularity. It is normally what you download from your cell phone or GPS device. The planning involves gathering information, sometimes from books or magazines, but mostly from the internet. But you need a software to manage all this information, and so I looked for something that could handle points of interest best and came up with Viking GPS. Once I have started Viking GPS, I always change the default display size of images first. Go to Edit, Layer Defaults, Track Points, and a modal dialog pops up. Choose from the tabs Waypoint Images and turn the image size to 128. This will affect all images on the map. Go to the menu Layers, Apply, New Track Waypoint Layer. Go again to the menu Layers, Apply, New Map Layer. A modal box pops up. The only input in that modal box that is of interest is the map type. You do not necessarily have to set the map type right now. You can change the map type at any point. Now there should be two layers. One layer is the map, second is for the points of interest. Now move on the map to the first point of interest you want to add. Select the layer Track Waypoint. Then and only then the symbols for adding waypoints are activated. After setting the waypoint on the map, a modal dialog appears. In this dialog you can link to an image on the local disk. You can also enter a link at a comment. This link is called when you go on the image, right mouse button and go to Visit Website. In one trip I am planning, I have created two track waypoint layers, one for all the sites and another for all the campgrounds. You can make accurate routes in Viking manually point by point. I prefer a detour with a track planning program. The best programs are websites. One website is gpx-editor.co.uk. Another very good website is cycle.travel/map. Both websites can export a GPX file. For my example, I used the website GPX Editor. First go to the location where you want to create a track. Very important, go to the routing method down in the bottom and turn it to cycling. You can change the routing method anytime, but somehow it does not reroute the track automatically. I make one track at a time. You go to the symbol for a new track. With the left mouse click you put the start point. With every additional click you add another point to the end of the track. You can always remove the last added point by going to the context menu on the track, this track, edit, remove last segment. You can add detour points to the track by going somewhere on the line, clicking the mouse. It will create a white point you can drag around. You have also a context menu for every point on the track, so you can remove single points except for the last or the first one. When you are finished, you, in most cases, have a quite accurate track, so you are going to save it. But first you want to remove some points. And here comes GPS Prune in. For my part, there's not much I found GPS Prune useful for, but in just simplifying a track, it beats everything else. When I start a download from the web editor, the browser proposes to use the download for GPS Prune. This maybe is not happening for the first time. You may have to pick the program from a list. In GPS Prune, go to Menu, select Track, Compress Track. A modal box pops up. You can select several options: duplicate removal, wacky point removal, singleton removal, Douglas-Peuker compression. Duplicate, wacky and singleton removal are cleaning up the track. Douglas-Peuker is what does the compression. You can reduce the span in the Douglas-Peuker compression, so you have less points. A value of 200 is fine. After applying the compression, you save the track as GPS. Now go back to Viking GPS, go to File, Append File and add the GPS track. Basically, this had it been. I collect a lot of infos about the area of my interest, especially photos. I make a lot of links to the photos. In another layer I add the campgrounds. Finally I make the routes.